Welcome to Game of Roses. This is PaceCase.
This is Bachelor Glue. It's Monday, which means this is Digging Deeper. We have such a treat for you this Digging Deeper. We're, of course, going to open this one up with a few clips from the great one. He went on a podcast by Mayim Bialik. Do you know her? She was Blossom on the television
Jeopardy
program.
host.
Blossom. She's now the Jeopardy host. She was on Big Bang Theory, and she is also, I believe, a PhD. And she has this podcast that I listen to all the time because she brings on people to talk about human consciousness, telepathy tape, shit like that sometimes.
Ooh.
But her guest this past week was one Nicholas Joseph Vialicus.
Did they talk TT?
No, I don't think they talked that. It was mainly about his life as a reality performer and, you know, how it affected things or whatever. So we're going to open with a couple of clips from that. We also then have some clips from Ben and Ashley I Almost Famous, where Ashley I is talking about the audition tapes that are now starting to air every Wednesday on YouTube. We have got Bachelor Happy Hour. Grocery is saying some wild shit. You'll want to hear that. We have got Demi Burnett talking about some producing practices during her time in our beloved game. We've got a couple of clips from Jeff Probst, On Fire with Jeff Probst, talking about his black shirt ritual.
Oh, God.
And we've got
this is
some
a Club
clips.
Condo thing.
It's something like that. I mean, I have a black shirt ritual, in case you didn't notice.
You do have a black shirt ritual.
It's more like a uniform. We have some clips from PaceCase's great one on Off the Vine. Caitlin Bristow is talking about producing practices, alcohol practices in her seasons. And we've got some clip from Chris Harrison and Lauren Zima from their show Through the Drama with Chris and Lauren. That is
never thought we'd see this.
Well, I mean, it turns out I think the reason they weren't doing their podcast anymore is because they were doing this show. This Through the Drama is their podcast companion, I think, to their Merit Street Media stuff, which is now happening. I guess you can watch it on the Merit Street Media app. They're doing a show every day, 5 days a week.
That's an intense schedule. That's like us.
It is, but I'm also like, who's fucking watching Merit Street Media?
I don't know. You're the only one I've ever heard mention it.
You heard Chris Harrison mention it. What do you mean? we literally listened to him promote it.
Nope.
Okay, you blocked it out. All right.
I don't know. I mean, did he monetize his podcast before?
Hell yeah.
So people are listening.
I don't know,
waiting for their profit.
I don't know how you get Merit Street Media. I know there's an app that you can watch some of it on or something. I can't be bothered. It's part of some cable packages, I think, like maybe DirecTV offers it or something. It's not on YouTube TV, or at least not on the package I have. I've looked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know who's watching him. Nonetheless, let's jump into this with our first clip of this Digging Deeper. This comes to us from Mayim Bialik's breakdown. It is Nicholas Joseph Viall talking about how core principles of The Bachelor are love and how that runs through the different contestants, the different players of our game. All right, let's check this out. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Falling in love in The Bachelor is a relationship built with withholding love. It's
Sweater.
you spend, if you were to, people joke about it all the time. I've never done the math, but like you spend minutes, hours with someone. If you're the most time you'll ever get with someone is on a one-on-one, and that's maybe 6 hours you'll have with that person, surrounded by other people, never any really alone time.
Right.
And if you ever get alone time, it's during it's 5 hours during the fantasy suite, because the date doesn't usually end till like 1 p.m. and they're waking you up at 7. So you either can sleep or you can pull an all-nighter and talk, and usually people talk and get like 2 hours of bad sleep, but that's all your alone time you have.
I don't look good after
And
2
so
hours.
when you're competing with all these people, they're always pulling you away, right? They're pulling you away to to talk about it. And so you're fantasizing about this love and this person when you're not with them. And so your relationship when you get to the end is really just in your head. It's not even reality. It's whatever you decided what a life is with them, because you're literally thinking about that person while they're on a date with someone else, and you're romanticizing yesterday because that's a time that you've had. And then you spend the next 4 days thinking about them.
Don't you think this is just what dating is like?
I was supposed to say the same thing.
So there you have it. Viall's he's kind of shitting on the idea of The Bachelor, but like, this is what drives me insane about this fucking guy. Okay. Mm-hmm. Hats off to you, Nick Viall. You're the greatest player who's ever played our beloved game. There's no question about that. I'm not disputing that. He drives
you crazy, but you love him.
Well, this is what drives me crazy. It's the hypocrisy. He will say one thing when it fits whatever narrative he's trying to say now, and another thing when he doesn't. So when he's saying like, it's not real, none of it's real. But then when you say this is a game and you position the idea that it isn't real and people are playing a game, no, they don't know. They weren't on the inside. So when it threatens his kind of control of the narrative of what The Bachelor is and reality dating television, his kind of foothold in the pantheon of greats, when any of that is threatened, fuck you. You don't know what you're talking about. I lived it. But now when I'm the expert telling somebody else on a podcast, it's free for me to tear down the idea that there's any real love happening. Meanwhile, if I'm sitting on that podcast with them, I'd be like, well, what about Sean Lowe and Catherine Giudice? What about Desiree Hartsock and Chris Siegfried, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Trista and Ryan Sutter.
You have notes for the hosts.
Yes. I would totally do that.
Please.
Mayim Bialik, if you're out there, if you're listening to this, next time you interview somebody from The Bachelor, just have me there in the control room. Put it in an earpiece. Let me talk to you. Let me help you through this, because obviously interviewing Nick Viall. I will
Cyrano your interview
with Nick Viall.
Yeah. Anything to get through to him.
Yeah, exactly. Ask him if he thinks it's a sport. I mean, it's hard for me to watch stuff like this. I love that he gets to go on. This podcast is huge. She has over 1 million YouTube subscribers. It's a very big, successful podcast. And I like to see any Bachelor player going on these platforms, exposing themselves to a bigger, wider audience. That always makes me happy. But I mean, nobody really digs into like what The Bachelor is. When you go on these bigger platforms who are just kind of like generalized audiences, you're never going to get like in-depth questions about the real minutia of what it's like. You're never going to get any pushback or like double questioning of an answer. So that annoys me, but I do like to see him talking about this stuff, obviously, because you're just like, dude, you've said exactly the opposite on your own podcast.
Also, like, you are the expert. Do the math. Like, how many minutes did you spend with Vanessa? I want to know.
Yeah.
It can't be that hard to add up.
Yeah. I mean, he said he gets 5 hours on a fantasy suite. So there were 5 hours. I think they had 2 one-on-ones. So throw in another maybe 2 hours per one-on-one. So maybe 9 hours.
2 hours during the day and 2 hours during the night portion?
See, I don't know, all told. Like, I've heard a lot of varied things that like your day date is really broken. Like, you do whatever your little activity is, and then you're doing ITMs all day. That you don't really spend that much time with them because they're always yanking you to go do ITM, both of you. Same thing with the dinner. You get like, you come in, you sit down, you have whatever that conversation is going to be, play a PTC or two, and then it's like, bye. They yank you out of there. Let's go do ITMs.
I mean, Sean Lowe estimated 24 hours. And I would say if there had been follow-up questions, I feel like this would be the rebuttal, would be they talk about it like the engagement was the start of them dating and like it just happened to kind of work out for them.
Yeah.
But I'm very curious about the math, and also just like you're saying, he's always defending it as like it is for TRR. You are having real connections. But then you're shitting on it, and it's made your whole platform. Yeah. That's why you're wearing that brick sweater on Mayim Bialik's
It's also like the idea that I mean, I guess there's some debate about like love at first sight, if that's a real thing or not. But I think it's like, you can never argue against the fact that there are human beings who meet each other and get married that day. Like, that has happened in the history of humanity, and it has happened that works out. Those people stay together for their entire lives.
Arranged marriages.
Yeah. Beautiful love stories out of it. Like, I don't know if arranged marriages, I guess maybe that's like a different thing, but I I'm saying like people who you hear stories of like, we met in Las Vegas and got married and oh my God, we've been happy ever since. Or
dated a week.
You know, a very short amount of time. That's totally possible. And so he's even shitting on that idea that like just a quick marriage or a quick falling in love can happen.
No, the only way love happens is you receive a DM. They don't know why you're famous at all. They just think you're sexy. Yeah. And then you slowly date and you accept that the age gap is acceptable to you.
I mean, when I was a bachelor, Instagram wasn't even really a thing yet. You couldn't even post thirst traps. So it took a few years after I came off The Bachelor till I could post my thirst traps. And then, of course, they worked. They ensnared young fly in my thirst trap. And now I've devoured her life whole. She's become a part of me.
Oh, my God.
Okay. Let's move on.
Why did you ask about that, Mayim? Devouring her.
Let's move on here to our next clip. It comes to us from the same show. This is the great one. Again, he's talking in this clip about percentages of what guys are there for love and which ones are just competitive. This is going to be a treat. Here we go.
I can't wait.
How many of the guys are like, I fought so hard, but I just wanted to win. I didn't actually want the prize.
Few. Yeah. I think most seasons there's one or two people who develop genuine feelings. And then the vast majority of people who honestly get almost no time with that lead and know pretty quickly he or she's not into me. And then there's like, the final six, they, depending on their ego or how honest they are with themselves, some of them might be like, yeah, there's nothing here, but I'm along for the ride. Some people might, because they just decide like this person, they're super into me. Because that's what, you want to date, the producer's like, they love you, and you'll have to decide how honest you are. But one or two people every season do develop what feels real feelings. And when you're at the end, that's what I mean. You really feel like you fought for it. You really feel like you had to fight for this relationship, and it feels right and it feels honorable in a way.
God, Mayim Bialik, if you're listening to this, have us on your show. Have this conversation with us. It's interesting to hear him talk about this. He's like, and then the top six. No. Now, mind you, the
top six are honorable.
Top six, yeah, they're the honorable ones. I mean, he has these kind of like weird delineations in his mind, and it's always this many people and this many people. This guy hasn't played the game in a damn minute. He don't know what it's like now at all. No one is going into the show for the right reasons. Zero players are going into it for right reasons. I think there can be moments, like I would argue with Grazi and Kelsey Anderson, where that player gets surprised and is like, oh shit, I actually do like this guy. She didn't go into that show to get married and find love. She went into that show to get famous. That is everybody's primary objective when going into The Bachelor now. Maybe a close second would be like just to go in for the adventure of it. I might get to travel the world and have this crazy experience. Nobody is going into it being like, I will marry this guy or this woman.
Because that's an insane objective. Like, it's statistically to find love. It's not going to work out most of the time. Like Nick is saying, you're spending so little time with the person. It's just not, online dating is a lot more successful than going on The Bachelor. Yeah, I don't know. There are 4TR people, I guess, in the past. I don't know. But we're also watching Hannah's season right now, and I believe that she is into all the people and that they are into her. So it depends on the season. That's wild. Even though Jed Wyatt has a girlfriend. Like, we know everything we know about that season now, and you're still believing him. You're like, I mean, I'm like, I see the wheels turning, and I'm like, okay, I think Jed is like, wait, actually, I am falling for Hannah more than my girlfriend. Like, right? Because otherwise, why would he have let it go on so long? Because you're in that. What are you going to do? The lights are on you. You're in the structure of the show. Eject. How can you eject? No, because he's looking at it like, I agree with you. I think he's comparing Hannah Brown to his girlfriend and being like, she's way better.
I don't know like what the deal was he made with his girlfriend though, because she knew he was going into the show.
Yeah.
They agreed like, yes, you have to do this to promote your music and all this shit. Maybe she didn't know that he was going to come out of it and be like, so anyway, I'm getting married now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just, the idea that he's promoting here that like there are some people who go in for love and then the top six. No. He's got these weird delineations of like, those are the players that matter. If you don't make it to the top six, fuck you, basically.
Yeah, you
it's
haven't even
wrong.
spent any time with the lead.
Right. And it's like, dude, what about Grocery? Night
Grocery
one guy.
He is an unusual case.
I agree. But in any game that lasts for a certain amount of time, you do start to see these statistical anomalies, these outliers to the norm. Grocery is one of them. And that's only because the show has been on for so long. Same thing happens in any sport, baseball, football, whatever. You start to have the weird statistical, almost impossible kind of games or events. They will happen once in a while just because you're playing so many seasons of the game or so many iterations of a group date or a 2-on-1 or 1-on-1. Eventually, all things have to happen. Like a night one guy vaulting to the top of the heap, getting millions of Instagram followers, becoming the host of the official Bachelor Nation podcast, and marrying Serene Your Pitt, the third place player on season 25 Bachelor.
Bringing together our two beautiful countries.
That's true. She just became a citizen. Did you see that? She got her paperwork. All right.
I saw her folder.
Yeah, she had her folders of information. We are now going to move on to another clip from this same podcast in which the great one talks about his experience on special forces and tells us why he thinks Bachelor players do well. He also talks about, now he's a father, if his kids, or at this point kid, is going to or are going to be allowed to watch The Bachelor. Are you ready for this clip?
Yes.
If you want to see this clip and you want to see all the rest of these clips and hear me and PaceCase react to them, you just go to patreon.com/Game of Roses. Join us in the bottom of the pit. You get access to the rest of this episode. You get access to the rest of all Digging Deepers. You get access to all of our episodes ad-free. You get access to PaceCase Palapa. You get access to Clues Corner. You get access to Casa Gore, where we're right now rewatching Hannah Brown season 15 of The Bachelorette, and it is blowing our minds just like it did the first time we watched it, and we're compelled to even begin this podcast.
You get access to our back catalog.
Back catalog's on there, so you can now watch us rewatch Hannah Brown's season, and then you can go listen to the back catalog and listen to our very first episodes that recapped halfway through that season, starting at episode 6.
Yeah, and we didn't even know Jed had a girlfriend.
Yeah, God, we were so
different
innocent.
Perspectives in
We
many
were different
ways.
people. We have been changed, but please join us on our Patreon at patreon.com/Game of Roses to get all of this stuff.
Live shows Monday nights.
Live shows, Discord, all kinds of good stuff is in there.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us. And then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast.